Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today is the first day of Craftmas, and we're going to be kicking things off with an overview of this year's ideology. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using today, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. So today is all about ideology and altering ideology components. Let's take a look at what is new this year and what has come back. So to start with, we have got a fantastic pack of backdrops. I love these. We've got some fantastic plaid going on here. We've got the poinsettias back. This one I believe is new. We've got some paint swatches, numbers. I'm very happy to see the red stripes again. More poinsettias, some music. That is a different configuration, so very excited about that. And we've got a monotone background. We've got a gingham, some holly, one of the matchboxes. This plaid is absolutely fantastic and I love it. More poinsettias, a green gingham, the classic candy stripe background, one of my favorites. More plaid, more gorgeous poinsettias, some rustic wood, some more stripes, love those. And this black backdrop with all the trees and things on it is always cool. And more plaid. I love how that is just absolutely disintegrating. So we've got some cool backdrops. That is new this year. Also, we have got this year some transparencies. Now these are a little bit different from what we have seen in the past. So let's just go right in there and take a look. We've got kind of like a really cool frozen pattern this time. This is new. Previously we've had some snow like scattered around the edges of windows, and we've also had like the storefront pieces. So this is the classic storefront. Love that. And we get two of each pattern in here. And this time we have a different snowy pattern. Before we've had snow like going around the edges, but this is like snow falling down outside, and that is gorgeous. Can't wait to use that on some of the baseboard windows. So I'll just tuck these right back in here. There we go. So, speaking of baseboards, this is the baseboard collection, and most notably the street lamp. We have got a cutout in these this time. This is new. Last year, I remember I spent a lot of time poking a hole just so I could light this up, but look at that. That's all cut out for us now. Very cool. I love that addition. That'll make creating with these so fun and so much easier to illuminate. Everything else pretty much looks the same, but I think that upgrade alone was well worth it. Oh, and they modified this baseboard window just a bit. We did have a larger paneled front. I'm looking around. I think that one looks a little different to me, but either way, we've got beautiful pieces to play with, and can't wait to make something with those. All right, let's put those baseboards down. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we have plenty of space. Okay. Also, this year we got some adornments. We've got our metal pieces. We get one stand to go with the wreath, and then we have a whole bunch of little pieces. We got some fun snowflakes, always good. And this year we have a mixed pack of layers and paper dolls. The paper doll cast, of course, has been updated a little bit, so that will be fun to take a look at as we do a few alterations with paper dolls today. Also coming back, this was a wonderful surprise. We've got jute string, and this is in holiday colors. This is great. I've got some of the old postal stuff in blue, red, and white, but now I've got some of the holiday color too. That's perfect since I was extra excited about the twine from Halloween as well. Love seeing the twine coming back. That was a lovely surprise. And speaking of lovely surprises, we've got icicles. These were discontinued, but they are back. Very happy with these. I've used these before. They're great to put on the village houses and to put around vignette bases and to just have dripping off things. Very fun. Thrilled to see those back. Now I'm just kind of sifting through my basket. I've got like a whole bunch of stuff in here. All right. Bottle brush trees did make a return. We've got the woodland, and these are the skinny ones. So I can keep creating with those. Very happy to see them back. Always a good time with those trees. And of course, we have got some ephemera. Love the ephemera pieces. Lots of good things going on. Some new stuff, some old stuff. Definitely a good time for collaging. Now just sifting through my basket. The other thing that is new this year is the Noel sticker book. So Christmas sticker book. Let's take a quick look inside. Of course, we've got all sorts of words. But in the back, we've got the vintage gift tag pieces. These are beautiful. I love those. And then we've got all sorts of fun sticker art. This just made me so happy when I saw it. I can't wait to use those. And we've got a set of sentiments on green and a set on red. And we've got some decorative long strips, kind of reminiscent of the decorative tape. And of course, all the wonderful words. So these are the things that are new this year to Idea-ology. Not bad. We've got some fun pieces, and I can't wait to make with them. Now, we did have some things that were still available at Simon Says Stamp that are continuing to exist, and I'm very, very grateful because there's some things that I do use a lot of. So, I got some more collage strips. These were originally... Oh, this says this year. So I guess the collage strips are one of this year's things. Okay. Great. Well, I do love collage strips as well. Another fun thing to make with. All right. So returning, well, not really returning, but available on Simon Says Stamp. I did score some more paper dolls. I love them, and the winter ones are unique. So I wanted to get a few more of those. So stocked up on that. And of course, I can never pass these up. I'm stockpiling them because I will be so sad the day they're discontinued. Droplets. I love metallic droplets, and I use them to embellish the corners of my cards. I frequently use them on Christmas trees. So every time I place an order, I'm usually getting a couple of these because I use lots and lots and lots. And, oh, these are also, this year, we have some metal tags as well. I also scored these adornments. Now, these definitely make me think Christmas with the angel wings and the crowns. And this is a really, really old SKU. Let's see here. This is 2011, but these are still kicking around, believe it or not. So fun times and definitely worth grabbing. You get a total of 4 large rings, 4 small wings, and then a small and a large crown. So lots of good pieces to use. All right, so that takes care of Idea-ology for this year. We're going to have some fun doing a bit of alteration. We're mostly going to be playing with layers and paper dolls today, and I was thinking maybe we could do a little something with the adornments today. All right, let's dive in and make some alterations. Let's get into embellishing some Idea-ology. So I'm going to be working with a variety of new and old pieces. So let's start off with some of the bottle brush garlands. These are great. I love the texture and they're so fun, and they are shapeable. We've done wreaths before with Tim Holtz, and these can make wonderful garlands, and you can even chop them up into smaller pieces to add as filler. So we're going to be using these two today, and we're going to just do a very quick alteration with a dash of Distress Spray Stain. We're going to be pulling in the colors Rustic Wilderness and Mowed Lawn. So what we're going to do is give these a very quick spray with a bit of water. And we're going to go in with our lighter color first, which in this case is Mowed Lawn. Doesn't take a whole lot, which is really nice. Just rotate these and a little bit of spray. We've already got a lovely shade of green, but we're going to add just a little bit of contrast with some Rustic Wilderness so it's not a complete uniform color. Just a little splash here and there. We'll rotate these and a little bit right in the middle. Okay, and I'm just going to rub that around just a little bit in the leftovers. There we go. Okay, so not much to it, just a little bit of spray, and we have got two lovely colored garlands. I'm just going to set these aside and let them air dry on their own. I am thinking though that we might come back later and add a little bit of texture paste to them. That could be fun to give it a more snowy look. Alright, so setting those aside, we'll give our area a very quick little mop up. And let's take a look at some ephemera pieces. We've got lots of great flat pieces that can be easily altered with some of our texture pastes and glitters. Well, let's take a look at what we have. So I've got a few different pieces here, and we're going to do a couple of different things with these. And I've also got this large piece. So for pastes, I have got some grit paste Snowfall. I'm going to add some Snowfall to this one. And let's see, we've got some fluffy snowflakes. That one I'm thinking would be fun to add around the base of our deer. Then I've got some Twinkle. I want to put Twinkle on these two elements, and then we've got the sparkle paste to go on these. All right, let's start with the sparkle paste first. So we'll just pop this open. And I'm just going to go in with a finger and add a little bit of sparkle to these pieces. We're just going to treat this like a regular glue and just kind of use circular motions to apply. And this is going to give us a little hint of glitter on this piece of ephemera. Just something to make it a little bit more festive. There we go. Just little circles. We don't need a whole lot. And this will also make this a bit shiny. There we go. I can see the little glittery bits. Yep, there they are. Not bad. Okay. So that is looking good. We can set this one aside. And we're going to do one more. We've also got this wreath here. That'll look nice with a bit of sparkle on it. And then these will be all set to add to a card or some collage. There we go. Excellent. So sometimes embellishing can just be little things, just adding a little bit of extra texture, adding a little bit of sparkle, adding some glitter. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. If one day you just want to work on glittering all the things, pull out your glitter stuff, grab a giant layer of ephemera, and have at it. The making season, especially around the holidays, is hectic enough, so give yourself a little bit of a break and make your life easier with compartmental making. Definitely the one thing that keeps me sane with the 12 days of Craftmas rolling out. I know that time is going to be scarce and I want to make every second count. And for these videos, I like to be really streamlined. And all of the videos are going to be building together so that I have pieces to make for other projects further down the line. Like this one is going to tie into another video that we'll talk about in a few days. And I will be very glad to have all these pieces pre-ordered altered when we get there. Okay, so for this one, I just want to add a little bit of the paste in a couple of areas. We're not going to go all over this time. I'm just going to kind of dab this on those little fur trim pieces. And we'll just add a little bit of intentional sparkle. So just dabbing that on. There we go. That's going to be interesting. Just a little bit of a dab. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. It'll be neat to see how a little bit of selective glittering is going to work out. There, around the cuffs, the hat, the fur trim of the coat, and the boots. Alright, that one is done too. Set that aside. We'll check back on these later to see how it looks once everything is all nice and dry. This one we're just going to go all over, just so that we can see what it will look like. There we go. And it will make it a little bit shiny. Turn and spread. Very good. All right. That is looking lovely. And again, we'll just set that off to the side to dry. Now I'm going to need to pull out a snowy stencil. I think we're going to do the grit paste snowfall next. And I've got a really fun little stencil around here somewhere. Where'd it go? From one of the Stamped Timber sets. Okay, all good. So I have this one right here. This one came along with Dash Away. That is this guy right here. This was 2021. So that will be fun to use. All right. So I'm just going to take this. We're going to put our stencil down. Open it up. This is the Snowfall texture paste. We'll need a palette knife. And just a little bit of the medium. Alright, that's a little wiggly. Let's try that again. Good. And a little bit there. I think we're all set. Let's lift. Yep, not bad. And I want some more down here. Again, just smushing the texture paste through. All right. And lift. Very good. So we have a little bit of snow added to this. Again, we'll set that aside, let it dry. So even just a little bit of stenciling can add some fun to a piece of ephemera. That is good. I really want to put some snowmen in front of this now. All right, so placing that aside and moving on. We're just going to do a quick little bit of cleanup here. Make sure we put our rubber band back on the jar. The rubber bands have been such a lifesaver and have made a big difference in the lifespan of my paste. They're staying a lot more malleable and it's so much easier to use. All right, there we go. Now I just need to give this a quick clean. Water and wipe. I'll give it a good rinse later, but the main thing is I want to get the medium off so it doesn't stick and make my stencil unusable the next time I want it. So the next thing we're going to do is going to involve some snowflakes, and this is another fantastic glittery combination. So we have a cute little deer. I want him to be standing in a pile of snow. So we've got our glittery snowflakes. I've got my glue. Let's go ahead and add a bit of sparkling magic to the base. Just like that, a dash of collage medium. Good. Set that down for a second. Open our jar. So much sparkly goodness. And dump. Here we go. We've now got a lovely sparkly base for our deer. And we'll set him aside. Now I think we're going to do a very simple alteration, and I don't even know if I call this an alteration. It's more like an addition. But first, let's carefully scoop all of that beautiful glittery mica powder back into the jar. This stuff is so fun. I really want buckets of it. I just kind of want to poke it. It's got a great texture to it. And it's so, so shiny. All right. Just put a lid back on that so I don't spill it everywhere. Good. So the next thing we're going to do is going to involve a little bit of ribbon and a couple of bells. These are neat. Absolutely love them. So fun. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a little ribbon and we're going to cut off a small segment. This is maybe 5 inches, 6 at most. But the main thing is I want to have a little bit of a triangle so I can easily thread this. We're just going to tie together a couple of bells and make a little bundle that can then be added to a project. Okay, good. And we'll just tie a knot there. And let's add the other bell. Just carefully threading that through. Great. And what we're going to do is tie this off and make a little bow. Now I have a lovely bunch of bells that are ready to add into any project. And of course you can change up your organza ribbon to any color that you can imagine. This would even be fun to use for a wedding theme. You could change the ribbon out to white and have a pair of lovely wedding bells. Now if you don't like them silver, you could easily alter these and make them gold with a distressed paint or foundry wax. Alright, just trying to tighten that bow up just a hair. Good. That is looking lovely. Now I just need to trim off the long side and we are good. Excellent. I've now got some bells that are all ready to be added to a project. So we'll just take that and set it aside. Now I want to take a look at an older piece of ideology. This is going to be icy and fun. I was so excited that these did come back this year, and they are in mini form. These are icicles, and these are absolutely fantastic. Now, while I have these out, I want to show you an older iteration of these because things have changed quite a bit over the years, and I think it's worth taking a look at some of those upgrades. So here we have some other icicles. These are from 2016. These are alpha parts. So let's take a look, and while we're at it, we can alter both sets. And you know what? I kind of want to add some glitter to these too. So let's take one roll of those icicles. Ooh, these are a little tough to maneuver, but you know what? I'm just going to snip. Things have definitely come a long way. Now, these are lovely, and I like the pattern, but if you'll notice, they are flat. Very, very flat. Very smooth. However, these are not. These are textured. Look at that. You can see the dimension here. It is so cool. Similar-ish pattern, but different. So what we're going to do is add some glitter to these, because why not? But we're not going to use collage medium this time. We want these to be shiny, so of course we need to pull in our glossy accents. Now just bring our paper back. We're going to put some glossy accents on here and then add in our glitter. So we're just going to smear this on, and then we'll be able to add all the lovely glitter. So just zigzagging back and forth, giving the bottle a little bit of a squeeze. Don't need to go overboard on this. The glitter is going to stick just fine. So zigzag, just moving right along, trying to get these icicles covered. All right, I think we're doing pretty good. Just set that down, and we're going to dump our glitter on. I think we're going to go with some of the classic distress glitter. Yep, just sprinkle. You know what? We're just going to dump. Why not? We've got plenty of glitter. All right, and just pick this up at the corners. Give it a little tap. There we go. We've got some lovely icicles. All right, I'm going to carefully set those someplace safe to dry. Now let's do the same for the other set of icicles, but this time we're going to use some of the chunky glitter. Now I can't just use the chunky. I have a little vial of this stuff that is a mix of the chunky and the original, because why not? All right, more glossy accent. And again, we'll just carefully apply this. Zigzag back and forth. Just trying to make sure I've got a good even coating everywhere. There we go. Should be good. I love sparkling things. Definitely one of my favorite way to alter pieces. Okay. Now, grabbing our chunky glitter. Just going to sprinkle. There we go. That will be plenty sparkly. Pick it up, give it a little tap, and look at that. So, so pretty. And again, move it off to the side. Now, since we're here, I've got a few extra snowflakes. Let's sparkle them, because why not? And these are from the 1416 alpha part set. This was one of my many finds on eBay. So, time to use it. All right. Now we're just going to take the glitter and sprinkle. Give it a little tap. Not bad. I'm loving the sparkliness. And I've got two more. So more of the glossy accents, and then the glitter. Okay, that looks good. Pick up more glitter, sprinkle. Sparkly goodness. Ooh, I like that. I think the newer chunky glitter is absolutely fantastic, and I love the texture that it gives when you add it to different pieces. Okay, and the last one. So scribbling this on, just checking that we've got good coverage, and then we get to dump the glitter. Okay. And I think that is good. Yep, that is great. Now let's scoop that extra glitter up and put it right back into the vial. I love these little glass vials provided by Ranger, and this was from the Tim Holtz Halloween class and the Christmas in July class. Each class got us a really cool vial of glitter. Okay, and while I'm thinking about it, that needs a refill. So what we're going to do is add a bit of chunky and add a bit of classic. There we go. Doesn't have to be completely full. I just want to refill this so I'll be ready for more making. Then just tip it right in. I'll try to go about 50-50 for my glitter mix, but it's not precise. Okay, there we go. Just top that up a little bit and give it a quick shake. Now I've got a nice even glittery mix. Great. Okay, on to some painting. So for painting, we're going to be taking a look at these two figurines. We've got the Santa Claus and we have the toy soldier. And I think these will be very fun to use in an upcoming project. But first things first, I need to give my mat a very quick clean because it has a little buildup of glitter and glue on it. Okay, much better. Now for the colors, I think we'll start with the Santa, and we'll put the soldier on fast forward. We're going to need, of course, some classic red, which is going to be our lumberjack plaid, a little bit of forest moss, and a dash of lucky clover. Oh, and of course, I'm going to need just a little bit of black soot. Almost forgot that. That would be not so good. This is going to be important because the boots need to be black. All right, and now I'm just going to grab a brush. I'm going to use one of the Ranger brushes. Those are a great size for painting with. I do like a water brush, but in this case, I do not want extra water. That would not be very helpful in this case. All right, let's zoom in just a little bit more. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start at the top and work our way down. Just adding the paint in. And this is one of those take your time and enjoy the process. It's going to be slow, and if you rush, it becomes a hot mess. So slow down, put on some good music or movie while you're painting, and enjoy. This part really can't be rushed. There we go. That's the hat. And we'll just continue turning. Now, the one thing I have learned while doing these, don't try to contort your wrist. Turn the actual piece You'll save yourself a little bit of strain. There we go. And for coverage, this has varied for me. Sometimes I can get away with just one coat, and other times I need to go over the same spot once or twice. But for the most part, one coat, and the area that I'm looking at is beautifully covered. There we go. Oh, I am kind of thinking I do want to glitter afterwards and add like a little bit of glitter to some of the parts that would normally be white. That could be fun. Okay, and rotate. There we go. It's coming together quite nicely. That is almost all the red. Now I just need to change my grip and get the pants. That would be next. All right. So we are almost done with the red, and then I'll move on to the green. And we've got two different greens. I've got the pants to go, and I've also got his sleeves to work on. So just turning and painting. Good. Coverage is looking decent. I'm not getting a whole lot of streakiness, which is fantastic. Sometimes red likes to be really difficult and can give me a streaky look, but today it is behaving very beautifully. Okay, now just turn. Oh, I am getting red on myself, not good. So I already started to do one arm. I think I need to change my grip. We're going to just hold him the base. Then I should be able to touch up the arm I smushed and do the other arm. Good. Okay. Just a little bit more. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, I think we're done with the red. So just give that brush a quick little wash. And let's move on to the black. But I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'm going to quickly dry this off with the Ranger Heat tool. Okay, on to the boots. So just painting that right on. It's going to be a nice easy layer. And just remembering to turn the figurine and not contort my wrist. Okay, almost done with this. Then we'll turn our attention to the belt. So just a teeny tiny bit of black. This part's going to be a little hard. I think I'll go over it a second time with the gold. And just a teeny tiny corner over here. Great. And a teeny tiny corner over here. I think that is good. Yep, that looks great. And I just realized I did miss a tiny section of red. I'm going to go back and fix that right now. There. All right, now we can do the green, and I think we'll go for the dark green for the bag. Just carefully moving around, making sure we've got good coverage here. Excellent. All right. And we are pretty much done. The last step will be to add some glitter and that little golden accent for the belt. Okay, and turning. Want to make sure we get this side as well. Great. All right, I'm going to quickly wash that brush out. And another little turn. We'll get the mittens. That's where the lucky clover comes in. Good. And then I'll blast this with the Ranger Heat tool one more time. And then we'll be ready for a bit of glitter. Alright, also grabbing my touch of gold. Alright, all good. Back in just a moment after this is dry. Now let's add that little bit of sparkle. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take the collage medium and we're going to run that around those little bits of trim. So just carefully squeezing the nozzle. I don't want to get too much out. I'm going to get that glitter on here. I think I'll do this in... Yeah, you know what? We can do it in one shot. It's just a couple of spots. So just being really careful with that nozzle, trying not to over squeeze the glitter, well, the glue, because that could make quite the mess later on. Just slowly working my way around. Okay, let's go this way. So far, so good. Oh, I really can't wait to see this with the glitter. And I am going to go with the fine glitter. I think in this case that actually might look the best. If we overdo it with a chunky glitter, we're going to end up with a chia pet look, I'm afraid. Okay. Glue is on. Paper. Now the glitter. Just sprinkling that right on. Just going to give this a little tap. Ooh, that looks really good. Can't wait to see this all nice and dry. I'm going to very carefully set this guy aside in a spot where I'm definitely not going to knock him over, because if we do, we're going to have quite the mess with the glitter. Okay, now we're going to turn our attention to our second piece. Let's go ahead and put things on fast forward as we paint this little toy soldier. So for colors, we're going to be using chipped sapphire, more lumberjack plaid, some black soot, and a dash of tarnished brass. Here are the results from our painting, and we have a little toy soldier all ready to be added into a vignette. So let's go ahead, we'll set them aside so we can finish drying, and let's move on to our next alteration. For the next alteration, we're going to be playing with more glitter and some bubbles. The bubbles are fun, but not only are they great for Halloween, they are wonderful for Christmas time as well. We're going to make some icy snowballs with these. And I am thinking we're pulling out the chunky glitter. So I'm going to grab a few sizes of these. And we're going to see what we can do. That looks like a pretty good variety. And this part is going to be messy. If you don't like the mess, I highly suggest putting gloves on for this, but I'm just going to go right in with my hands and we're going to make a mess. So what I'm going to do is put some of our glitter into this little plastic tray. This is something I saved from some packaging, and I find it's a great spot to drop things when I want to glitter them. Alright, now I'm going to need some glossy accents. I'm going to put some off to the side on a scrap. Then I'm just going to jump right in with my fingers, smush this around, and drop it into the glitter. There we go. Add our glitter. Okay. That should be good, and then carefully take that out, set it down. And we're just going to repeat the process until I've got all sorts of snowballs. And I think with the chunky glitter, this is going to work out really, really well. Now let's go for one of the larger ones. Okay, and we'll add more glitter in. Whoop, it's a bit much, but you know what, that's okay. So I've just got a few more of these to do, and then we'll have to set these aside to dry as well. So fun. I love making little elements to use. Definitely one of my favorite things. But you know, I definitely love ideology. So many little parts and pieces, all sorts of things to be organized and put in bins. And then used, most importantly. Have to use the stash. Okay, more glitter. Oof, this stuff is just like fluffy snow. Absolutely love it. Now, the nice thing about the glossy accents, it really won't take that long to dry. So I should be able to pick these up once I have gotten all of my snowballs made. Alright, one more to go after this. Drop that in, cover it up. Very good. And the last one, we've got a little itty bitty one right here. Great. Making sure that goes in. Add glitter. Good. Alright, now I am a little bit dirty, but I'm just going to spray with some water. I should be able to get a good chunk of that off, but to get the rest off, I'm going to need a little bit of hand sanitizer. Oh, maybe not. I think I actually got it pretty decently this time. Okay. So I'm going to dump that extra glitter back into the jar. And let's see if we can't get these snowballs into here. Like I said, they are probably already dry, and from the feel of it, they are. I love it. It doesn't take that long. There we go. So sparkly good. There we are. Lots and lots of sparkle. I love it. Okay. Now we'll just do our little bit of cleanup. Jump the rest back into the jar. This stuff is so gorgeous. All right. And now let's see about a little bit more sparkle with a couple of candy canes and some confectionery pieces. Love the confections. All right. That is looking good. And same process. We will need glossy accents. We'll need our paper. And this time I think we'll go for the mixed glitter. But just to show you the difference, this is just the regular glitter. It's a fine kind of sugary look, but I want chunky this time. All right, I've got my jar. That's open. Let's start sparkling. So just smush and sprinkle. Once we have that covered, just move it off to the side. All right, let's go for a candy cane. So same thing, just smushing the glossy accents all around, dropping and sprinkling. And we can just take that, lift it up. Ooh, very, very shiny. I like it. All right, and one of the little mint pieces. Got the little peppermint thing going on. That's good. Bring it over. All right, I'll do the other little minty pieces all at the same time. Might as well. Let's just go for it. Just rolling in that glitter, going off to the side to dry. So fun. This is the time when I do love to bust out all the glitter and sparkle all the things. Definitely makes me happy. Okay, that's good. Now we just have a couple of pieces left and we'll be done with confections. Okay, and another candy cane. Why not? Just pop that down. Sprinkle more glitter over the top. So much fun to play in. All right, move that off to the side. 2 more pieces and we will be all set. There we go. Okay, pick that up, give it a little shake, set it to the side. 1 more piece. And just picking it up and sprinkling it down. Very good. So we have some very sparkly candies now. Let's see if I can't get them to join the little snowballs over here. I'm going to carefully move those. It's feeling pretty dry. So far, so good. There we go. Last 2 pieces. So much sparkle. Take a look at that. Lots and lots of glittery goodness. Okay, and setting those off to the side, let's carefully tip our glitter mixture right back into the jar. There we go. Great. And all cleaned up. Next, we're going to be altering a old piece. These lanterns are so cool. And I want to alter one of these with a bit of glaze. But in order to get the glaze to stick, we need to go in with a bit of collage medium first. Well, really, there's two ways we could do this. We could go in with distress paint, because the glaze needs something to stick to. But collage medium is another way. That will give us a little bit of tooth on the lantern. Alright. So I've got a brush. I'm just going to paint that on. And then that'll give the glaze something to grip to. Well, it doesn't take a lot of collage medium, just enough to coat the surface. So I'm just carefully working my way around, making sure that I'm getting all the ins and outs of the lantern. Because if I miss a spot, then the glaze will not really want to stick for me. Okay. So far, so good. We are definitely doing good. Okay. So, I think we're okay. I will find out very shortly if we're not, because I'm just going to go in and dump the glaze right on. If I'm missing some spots, we're going to notice very quickly. Alright, but you know what? I just want to go for it because this is going to take a little bit of time to dry. And for glaze, I've decided to go with some evergreen bough. I want this to have a old camp type of look. So I'm just going to pour it on. Well, it looks like I actually got really good coverage on round one. That's fantastic. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this aside and let that have a chance to dry, and then we'll go back and melt down all of that embossing powder. I'm going to be super curious to how that's going to turn out. Alright, in the meantime, let's take all this extra powder and put it right back into the jar. And while we're waiting for that to dry, I've got a quick little alteration that we can do while we wait. But first I need to make sure the jar lid is on tight. I don't want any of the powder escaping, and I need to pop my brush back into the water, grab a different brush, because now we're going to be altering with foundry wax. Foundry wax is a quick and easy way to make alterations, and we want to give this a really good shake. This is gilded. Gilded, I think, is the easiest one to work with, and I'm going to be changing this metal word band into something golden. Giving my surface a quick wipe, and it's turning into a little bit of a beach with the embossing glaze around. That distressed glaze is super sandy, and I don't want to be working on it. That would not feel very good. Okay, so that's given a good shake. I'm just going to go right on here, grab the brush, move that around, and we're just going to paint that so that everything is nicely covered, and it's going to turn golden when we heat emboss. Okay, I think we're all set. This one, like I said, it's super quick, really easy, and you just need a paintbrush and an embossing gun. All right, done. Brush is wiped. And now I need to carefully pick up my piece. It needs to get raised a bit. There. And quick cleanup. There we go. And just a little bit of hand sanitizer will wipe the rest of that residue away. There, just like magic. All right. Now, be back in just a moment after we have heat embossed. Okay, so here is the finished result. And that is super shiny. Love it. Well, we're going to set that down, let that cool, and we're going to bring our lantern back in, and we're going to be heating this up. So I'm going to change the camera angle just a little bit, and we're going to lower the volume quite a bit, but I thought it'd be fun to watch this one as it starts to change. So let's go for it. Take a look at the lantern, and here it is. We can definitely see the green, and I ended up with a very happy accident of some of the glaze ending up on the chimney part of the lamp, and it just gave it this really cool glassy look. I love it. Happy little accidents. So there we go. That is another fun alteration. Okay, now moving on to our last one. This one is an absolute classic. Love this one every time I see Tim Holtz demo it, but I'm doing this one for practical purposes because I have a little bottle brush tree that is going to need decorating, and I'm out of the bauble size that I need to decorate this little tree. So we're going to need to grab some small ornament size baubles. So I'm just going to pull a bunch out, and I think we're going to go for 3 colors today: red, yellow, and blue. All right. So just switching things around just a little bit, making sure I've got what I need. Okay. I think this will be good. Now we just need to grab the alcohol ink and make these colorful. Okay, so I've got my 3 little mixing cups, and we're just going to drop these in, and then we can add the alcohol inks. So just dividing these up as best we can. Okay. So let's start with the blue. Just going to add a couple of drops, just like that. And for reference, I'm using denim. We'll just give these a little bit of a shake. That actually needs a little bit more. That is unusual to need more, but that's okay. It's probably because I've still got some of the chunky glitter still in here from a previous project. But you know what? I'm not that worried about it. Okay, much better. Got a lovely color. I'm a little bit blue, but that's okay. I don't mind in the least. Now for some yellow. Oh, that's probably overkill on the yellow. But you know what? That's fine. Alright, caps back on. Yeah, that didn't take very much. Nice and yellow. Now for a bit of crimson. Now the yellow was dandelion and this one is indeed crimson. Okay. Doing a quick little shake and shake. And these are all set. So what I'm going to do next is dump these out. They've probably already had enough time to dry. This stuff does dry pretty quickly, which is nice. The yellow maybe not. That one might still be a little bit damp, but we'll just put them out and they'll dry a little bit faster. Okay. You could do some extra steps. You could make these look more vintagey by adding some mushroom, or you could go in and do a little bit of a spray. I'm going for solid colors today because this tree is going to need to pop and subtlety is going to be lost in this particular case. All right, so we have our tree. We've got some baubles. Let's start adding them. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my glossy accents, putting a drop on a bauble, and then we'll take that and put it into the tree. There we go. I'm going to do my large ones first, and then we'll go back and fit the small ones in. Ooh, it's going to be messy. I could go for hot glue, but this really does work better. Okay, now for a yellow. Oh, very slippery. I think that was just my fingers. So, a little bit of glue, turn the tree, and press that in. Ah, that is indeed slippery, and I'll have to clean that up right away on the mat, or that is going to be a very annoying piece of adhesive to scrape off later. I can tell you, having to scrape glossy accents off the mat is zero fun. You don't want to if you can avoid it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on fast forward as we finish decorating this tree. Okay, let's go back and take a look at some of the pieces that we have had drying. I'm going to start with the layers that we added sparkle and glitter to, and some snowfall. So here's the deer with the scintillating snowflakes. That came out really nice. We'll put that here. These two were done with the glitter paste, so we've got little golden flecks. Very, very pretty. Then we have the twinkle paste. This one got little accents of twinkle. You can absolutely see that. So, so pretty. And then we had our icicles. We did one with classic distress glitter and one with chunky. You can see there's quite the difference, but it's oh so sparkly, both in wonderful ways. And while we were at it, we also sparkled up some snowflakes just because we could. And you know what? Why not? Added sparkle is fun. We also have our soldier and Santa Claus. These guys are looking pretty snazzy. There we go. And we have our two pieces of altered garland. And we have our Snowball altered piece of ephemera. We did a little bit of stenciling for some extra snowflakes. And we have a word band plaque altered with some foundry wax. We also had some fun sparkling up a whole bunch of confections. These were done with the chunky mixed glitter. So we got all sorts of confection pieces here. So sparkly. And of course that meant we had to do some snowballs at the same time. And last but not least, we have got our altered lantern and a very decked out tree. Let's put our lantern right here. We played around with some alcohol ink to alter a bottle brush tree by decorating it with some baubles. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for some making fun with Tim Holtz Idea-ology. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, happy crafting!